There's a dark mystery that's going to be revealed in Weird Strict Dad Chapter 3. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some mysteries that will be possibly being revealed in Weird Strict Dad Chapter 3, along with sharing some of your predictions on the future chapter. But if you are looking forward to Weird Strict Dad Chapter 3, don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe, and let me know in the comments one thing you like most about Weird Strict Dad. So the whole premise of the game is that we have this evil porch man, aka named Xenobus, who has actually sort of possessed our dad. It all starts out with a knock on the door, and our dad goes out one time, yes, in chapter 1, and it happens again in chapter 2, and we try to warn our dad not to go out there, but he still goes out there. Now, chapter 3 has actually got a lot more information on it than we think. We just have to put the pieces together that was found in chapter 1 and chapter 2, mainly chapter 2 because it unlocks the basement, which the basement reveals so much inside of it, and we really get inside of more details of exactly what's behind everything. So the way chapter 2 ends, our mom actually comes home. We talk about how we miss her, and this is of course after we create the antidote, which I'll get more into detail about that because we had to put some weird items and everything. I mean, the basement is just weird, so that also fits the name. So the mom comes home, and eventually there is another knock on the door. Now do keep in mind, at this point our dad is not possessed, so this is a good thing. It's not like our dad was possessed and our mom gets possessed, but there could be a possibility for chapter 3. So our mom goes out, which we also try to warn her not to answer the door, and it turns out Xenobus is there, and Xenobus has a scythe. Now, I already feel like Xenobus kind of looks exactly like the Grim Reaper, which just speaks death. But however, our mom goes out there and turns possessed as she looks at the camera, and then they both just disappear. Now, where did they go? That answer will possibly be found in chapter 3, and I have a theory on exactly where they went. Now, a huge key to this is something that was zoomed in at the very end, which is why I feel like this is going to be a key in chapter 3, is there is a scythe that was left down on the ground that was left by Xenobus. Now, if like Xenobus actually uses the scythe, why would he leave the scythe there and take the mom? So I don't know. I feel like this is somewhat of a trap in that Xenobus is leading us to follow him. Why? Because he left the scythe. I mean, think about it. Why would he leave the scythe? That's like leaving your main weapon or your main tool at the scene when you know that someone's going to find it and basically track you down. So I believe that we are going to use that scythe to actually track down our mom, and that was no accident. Now, there are a couple theories that I feel like in chapter 3 that could actually be solved, like what was the exact conversation between the dad and Xenobus? Like when the dad actually answers the door, what actually happens on the front porch? That would be very cool to have like some sort of cutscene that actually reveals what was actually being said on the porch before you check the CCTV camera and the dad, it's turned, you know, possessed. And also, let's bear in mind that Xenobus can just like apparently just warp between worlds or realms. So which we know that because on the CCTV, he just disappears like right as the dad gets possessed. Now, it very well could be that somehow he actually kind of gets possessed like and goes into the dad at least, but however, I feel like he is definitely separate from that. But that's just a thought, almost like thinking of a ghost taking over a body, but I don't think that's the case in this scenario. Now, on chapter 2, we do know that it seems to be a lot with sorcery, magic. Why? Because there's a cauldron down there, there's an alchemy book, there's also a lot of things in the book and things happening around the map as well, which definitely explains that it has something to do with, again, wizards, sorcery, the grandpa as well, which is also going to be a big key too. And in that ending that we have, which is like if you're not able to cure your dad in time with the correct potion, we actually see our grandpa being buried with our dad, and our grandpa is actually coming back to life. So it obviously, well, maybe not coming back to life, but definitely popping out of the grave. Now, it definitely appears that the grandpa is going to be a key factor in chapter 3 too. But when we go to chapter 3, if it was to actually start, I believe again we're going to go to another realm and potentially save our mom. Now there is a thing that maybe we don't actually know how to get to that other realm, and maybe that is someone that we have to actually contact in order to get to that realm. So maybe we have to actually do something downstairs to sort of summon the grandpa, and grandpa can actually take us over to that realm with the scythe to help us like basically save our mom. That's something to think about, and I think that is something that could possibly happen. So I totally think chapter 3 will basically cover up some history of Weird Strict Dad, maybe the conversation, where's our mom, if we're going to be saving our mom. Now there's still a lot of open things that still have not necessarily been somewhat solved, or if there's going to be even a need for it. Like for an example, the FBI knows about this porch man, so will there be a scene at all when the police actually show up? And maybe, I mean, they can't technically arrest Xenobus. I mean, Xenobus could just zap them all or turn them into weird strict FBI men. So that's also something to think about too, like if the FBI actually turns up or comes back as well. And will we be against our mom and dad in chapter 3? I personally don't think so. I think that we will be mainly saving our mom. However, it would be cool though, especially if it was in nights. And I think, you know, if it goes by in nights and not like just from, you know, at night until the morning, maybe it would be like one night you're actually, you know, going against the dad and one night you're going with the mom. Now it could possibly be that there aren't going to be nights because we might potentially be in a whole nother realm. Just think of like the upside down from like Stranger Things. That is something that could possibly very well be where we might be going. But I do believe the mom will be the main antagonist just because she turned weird strict in the end. So she's definitely turned already, and I think she will be the one that's actually checking on us and us having to get away from the mom. Now, do I think Xenobus will be defeated in chapter 3? No, I think the story will continue, especially if the developers, Blue Loop Studios, actually continues Weird Strict Dad. It seems that a lot of people tend to enjoy it, so depending on how they go with the story, I mean, it can turn either way. It can go really theory down the rabbit hole way, or it can actually go very memey and funny. So we still don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. I mean, even with the endings of the dad eating the apple, like this is on the Become the Dad update, there's like different endings, there's like funny dances, so there's still a lot of room here with Weird Strict Dad. But I do look forward to chapter 3. Now we can definitely expect secrets, mysteries, Easter eggs, and I would love to also have a choice ending. This game kind of reminds me of a lot of games where they have like multiple endings where you kind of have to choose and do certain things. So I do believe we will have more than one ending. That I could almost guarantee. But you all had some amazing chapter 3 predictions and also theories in general, so let's check them out. Brano, who has a gold cookie, who's a gold cookie member on the channel, says the grandmother wasn't in the graveyard, so she may have to do something with the possession of the family. The family may have left her because she had a bad intent. This may be her plan for revenge. Oh, yo, I'm sorry, what if Xenobus is like the grandma? Oh my, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Making the possessed individuals see the true intent and make them lean more to it as they chase you. I do believe we may hear something about the grandmother. Blue Blood Plays says, I think grandpa made him and he stabbed the grandpa to the wall and the parent believed it was an accident. Oh my goodness. And guess the grandma was not buried, so she's alive and ran away. Then they pictured, but grandpa left and found the grandma who was a subject and turned her into a person. She got mad and stabbed him. So are we thinking that body in the basement was the grandma that did that to the body? Whoa. Ori Stab says, I think grandpa is that guy who possessed him. Rone says, there's a secret in Weird Strict that chapter 2, sometimes the door of the basement is always moving on its own. There's no one living down there, so it might be a ghost of the grandpa in Weird Strict Dad that is trying to help us. You know, that's actually something that's in the alchemy book, like do doors randomly open and shut, I think. But that's such a great observation that you have there, because what if that's a ghost. Min H says, I think the reason why the top floor is locked because the dad is locking the real dad so that he won't escape. So he's probably the fake dad. So are we thinking this dad is not even our dad? Oh, this is gonna be mind-blowing. Lore says, theory, there could be another chapter 3 that is the second part of the secret ending that shows us running away from the weird strict grandpa, and he actually didn't die. User says, theory, I think grandpa was an enemy of the mysterious man. Then before he died, he hid the alchemy book in the basement, and the mysterious man is still haunting our family, and I think the mysterious man killed grandpa by some type of curse. That's actually a great theory. That is incredible, and maybe we will actually need that alchemy book to go save our mom or summon our grandpa. Jaden Production says, theory, the grandfather was best friends with the mysterious man and betrayed him. He used the alchemy book to brew a potion to banish the man, but he somehow returned to the realm of the living and held a grudge to the grandfather and killed him not longer after the player was born. And then he tried to kill the father in both chapters. My theory states that the dad told the man, who are you? What do you want? And the man says, your father made me do this, and I'll do it to you, and then transforms into Weird Strict Dad. Again, I really want to know what was said in that conversation. And last up, I would love to hear your chapter 3 predictions on Weird Strict Dad down below in the comments, and maybe we can include them in another video before chapter 3 actually comes out. But if you did enjoy this video, I think you're going to really enjoy this one here, where these are also 10 things that you possibly missed in Weird Strict Dad. But thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.